Lesson 51 has two different focuses. One of them is something very similar to what we have been doing with adding numbers with more than 3 digits. It's just a continuation and just another step in difficulty in our adding lessons for the year. The second half is about checking one-digit division. The key on that is the checking piece. It's not the division piece, but is the checking piece. So you'll notice that now we're going to need to start really writing out our work, writing out our equations, and also writing out our checks. So that's just a quick little intro. I'm going to jump to the next page here in just a second and introduce the lesson. All right, so let's talk about the first half of this lesson. This is adding numbers with more than 3 digits. On this is just, like I said, it's just a continuation of our normal adding lessons. It's just getting larger and larger numbers, and so we're just going to keep getting more and more complicated as we go. What they really want you to focus on, and you'll notice this is very similar to our decimal lesson the other day, is that it's just all about organization. Organization is the name of the game. You just want to be organized. So this is not one to do in your head. I know you guys, some of you really like to do these in your head, but this is a lesson where you really want to write out your equation and you really want to write out everything that you do. So what we're looking at here, they give you a word problem, and it sounds like this. A park ranger used a measuring wheel to find the length of trails in the park. 2 routes from a lake from the campground measured 43,287 feet and 68,595 feet. If a hiker takes one route to the lake and takes the other route back to the campground, then the round trip is how many feet? So what they did, they just made sure that their place values were lined up. In this case, there's a couple things that you could do. It's more of a preference on how you want to stay organized. If you have commas with these larger numbers, you can treat that kind of like your decimal and just line up your commas, because that will then line up all of your other place values. Some people, because they don't always give you commas, and sometimes you have it, sometimes you don't, the key there then would be just to start with your ones place. Just make sure your ones place is lined up, your tens place is lined up, your hundreds place is lined up, and just kind of going through one by one and just making sure everything lines up properly. I know it seems silly, but the idea here is that you really want to slow down and really write out your actual equation, make sure everything is lined up. From there, it's just like normal addition. You would add your ones place first. They did 7 plus 5 is 12. 1 plus 8 is 9. 9 plus 9 is 18. Drop the 8, carry the 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 5 is 8. And then they drop their comma. They drop their 3 plus 8 is 11. 4 plus 6 is 10. Plus 1 is 11. And we're all done. So that is the idea there with our adding larger numbers, is just staying organized, staying organized, staying organized. From there, we're going to move down to example 2. The difference between what you're seeing here, you'll notice there aren't any commas, and what they're going to do here is they're actually going to give us a variety of different numbers. And so this is where that slowing down and writing out, making sure everything is in the right place value is very important. Okay? It says Dale bought a used pickup truck for his business for $4,950. The taxes and registration cost $483. Then Dale paid $525 to have a toolbox installed in the bed of the truck. The tax on the toolbox was $37. Altogether, how much did Dale spend? When we see that altogether is our keyword for addition. So we're going to be adding all of these together. And so they just took all of these, and I do want to point out one thing they did differently on this one that you may or may not do. On the example above, they did all the regrouping above. On this one, they did the regrouping below. Either one is just fine as long as you stay organized and still get the right answer. So if you like to put your regrouping down here, that's great. If you want to keep it up here, that's also great. So notice what they did. There aren't any commas to use here, so this is one where you really need to line up your place value, and you do not want to do this mentally. So We're just starting down here with our ones place and just go straight down. It was just 3 plus 5 is 8, plus 7 is 15. In this case, they regrouped right here. Once again, if you want your 1 up here, that's just fine. And then they went down to their tens place, and that was, through their tens place, that was 19. Carried their 1 down here. I know I'm being I'm really driving this home, but you can do it above if you'd like. Bringing that down, it's 19 again. 4 plus 1 is 5, $5,995. So the big difference there is that we had just a multiple of different amounts of digits, and so this is one you do not want to do it in your head. A lot of folks who try to do it in their head accidentally put their hundreds place here or their tens place here. It's really important to write these out and actually show your work. All right, from here, let's move on to our example 3. This is our last one. This is actually the second section of our lesson, and that is checking our one-digit division. And like I said, the key word here is the checking piece. We've been working on one-digit division for a long time, so what we're really focusing on here is just the checking piece. So I want you to see what they did up here, because a lot of folks who did these last year, or in the fourth grade, mistakes that constantly get made are they do the division just fine, but they don't follow the check piece, and so they actually lose points simply because they did not check. So when you see a problem like this, it says divide and check the answer by multiplying. You need to do both. I'm going to want to see both halves, otherwise you will lose points. So I want you to see what they did here. If they were dividing 12 divided by 3 and they got 4, they would want to show they would want to show it here, but they would also want to check it. So they would then just turn it into 4 times 3 equals 12. So in the case of what they did down here in example 3, it says divide and check the answer by multiplying. What you want to do here, this is 18 divided by 3, and so what they would have done is 18 divided by 3 is 6, and then to check it, you would want to do 6 times 3 equals 18. Same idea here with 32 divided by 4, because 32 divided by 4 is 8, but I would still want to check it by doing 8 times 4 equals 32. So that's the big difference of what you're looking at there, is that you just need to make sure that you are checking. If they ask you to check and you do not check, you will be losing points on your tests and homework. Thanks for watching.